Hello, my name is Wayne Schroeder, and I'll be teaching a new course at IWP this coming fall, International Organizations and Multilateral Diplomacy. In this course, we'll be looking at some key concepts related to international relations, concepts such as collective security, collective defense, and preventive diplomacy. We'll also be looking at the history of international organizations and how they have fared over the past 100 years, going back to the middle of the 20th century and the failures in the mid-20th century and the later successes in the latter half of the 20th century. Some of the key organizations we'll be looking at include the United Nations. We'll be looking at the organization and structure of the United Nations, particularly the Security Council and General Assembly, and its successes and failures, and how the United States should engage in the UN system. We'll be looking at Asia and the Pacific. We mostly have bilateral treaties with countries in the Asian and the Pacific region, but we will be looking at the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and also other concepts such as how the ministers of defense relate to one another in the Shangri-La dialogue. We'll be looking at NATO. We'll be looking at issues related to NATO expansion and some of the key concepts of the future, such as NATO's decision to put troops in the Baltic regions and how we should look at Russian aggressiveness in the Crimea and in the Black Sea region. We'll be looking at the EU and how the EU was created in the mid-1990s, really following on and building on the common market of the 1970s. We'll look at some of the key issues there, including Greek debt. We'll be looking at the recent British exit from the EU, and we'll be looking at the role of the EU in European defense. And then finally, we'll be looking at other organizations in Asia and the Pacific. We'll be looking at multilateral arms control, and we'll be looking at the regional banks, the World Bank, the regional banks, as well as the International Monetary Fund. I'm very excited about this course. I hope you'll take it. Thank you very much.